Great. Well, Derek, thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you for asking me.
Well, we're thrilled to be doing this. I should introduce myself. My name is Ben Lilienthal. I'm the co-founder and CEO at ScreenMeet. And Derek, maybe you could do the same.
I'm Derek Chase. I'm the executive director for the Sustained Infrastructure Environment at TTEC.
So Derek, sustained infrastructure, what can you unpack that? Tell us a little bit more about what that means.
Sure. When we have our infrastructure team divided into three groups: design, build, and run. And I'm responsible for the run group. We call it sustain. Basically means that we keep the lights on. We're the group that if there's a problem, something breaks, we're the team that comes in and fixes it.
And so you keep the lights on where?
We have 42 call centers worldwide. And then plus we have about 20,000 agents that work from home.
And so worldwide is everywhere?
50,000. Yep, it's everywhere.
People.
6 continents right now.
Yep.
You know, we probably go to 7 if somebody wanted a call center down in Antarctica.
Yeah.
But right now we're just focused on the 6.
I see the polar bears aren't shopping.
Penguins and polar bears are not big shoppers.
Not big shoppers, and they're not answering their cell phones.
No, they're not.
Gotcha. And so, so how does ScreenMeet figure into this? ScreenMeet is remote support software embedded in ServiceNow.
Sure. So, back at the start of COVID, we moved all of our employees at home. Went through COVID, we put 55,000 employees to work from home.
Wow.
So, made it through COVID. Started realizing at the end of COVID that a lot of our customers still wanted work from home programs, that we were going to have to continue that model even after COVID. So we started looking at our collaboration tool. We had hired a new chief security officer, and John asked us to go take a closer look at our productivity tools to see if there were tools that could use some security upgrades. We identified that our collaboration tool was one where we could probably find something that would work better. And we just went out to the market and started looking, and ScreenMeet was one of the 3 that we looked at.
Well, that's exciting. And to sort of dive in a little deeper, when you talk collaboration tools, that includes things like Teams and Zoom?
Yes.
Okay, and then ScreenMeet is a little different.
Right.
And so can you talk about sort of what the use cases are for ScreenMeet and how sort of that became an important part of kind of keeping the lights on and keeping people at productive? So
pre-COVID, majority of our employees are in call centers. So whenever they have a problem, they call site IT. Site IT walks over to their machine, or remotely gets on their machine within the call center and can fix things immediately. Now we have all these employees working from home. We need a way when they have technical problems to be able to see what they're seeing, to be able to get on their machines, take over their machines, do any technical fixes. If we need to do any training, we can train them by doing point and click and show them where to go. So when I take collaboration, we're basically taking over the agent's machine, partnering with the agent to solve their problem.
Remote desktop control.
Yep.
Right. And so you realize you had this problem. You have 20,000 people who may never come into an office.
Yes.
And you're running ServiceNow as your back-end platform. And so what were some of those kind of key requirements? You said you'd gone out and you found ScreenMeet, a couple other vendors.
Right.
What were some of those key things that tipped the scales in the favor of ScreenMeet, if you will?
A security conscious infrastructure, right? Had to be very secure. We wanted a SaaS product. We didn't want to host anymore. We're trying to get out of that, more cloud-based, right?
Yep.
It needed to be an interface that was easy for our techs to use,
yep.
right? Improve the experience.
Yep.
And something that was fiscally responsible. Our finance guys are, always looking over your shoulder, making sure you're spending the money the right way.
Sure. You want to have an ROI.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I mean, it's great to hear that because 10 years ago when we started ScreenMeet on a piece of paper at a kitchen table, we really had this belief that remote support belonged in the cloud. And then, after we got the product out, we said, well, what are the systems of record that people who do remote support use?
Mm-hmm.
And every time we looked, the answer was ServiceNow.
Yes.
And so the integrations that we have spent years and years refining are to do exactly the things that you guys were looking for.
Yes.
So to hear it from a customer, to sort of say, oh my gosh, we made chocolate and you guys had peanut butter and
it all worked out.
It's cool. Yeah, it's really exciting. So thank you for that. What about security? I mean, are there specific things that you're afraid of? Specific things that happen to you? Specific things, security vulnerabilities that you're conscious about?
Yes, since 2002, when we moved to ScreenMeet, we use a vanity URL to be able to connect our agents.
Support.ttec.com,
right,
something
like that, right?
Yeah.
And what that does is it allows us to lock down all of the other collaboration tools that are out there, all the other remote support desktop tools. Lock out, right?
Yeah.
And plus, another benefit that ScreenMeet does is, with a lot of other tools, you can go download a test license with the other tools.
Freemium.
Yeah, and then any bad actor can do the same thing, and then through phishing.
I'm Ben from TTEC Support. Right. Can I get on your computer?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we were able to lock that down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And since 2022, the bad actors have gotten very capable and try very hard through phishing and those types of attempts to get into people's networks.
So even though you're no longer using those products, you still see that attack surface?
Yes, we still see those attempts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, because we made the decision that we wanted to take remote support as a workflow and embed it within the ServiceNow platform, security was clearly top of mind. So whether it's authentication, tying the agent to a specific domain, pinning certificates on the desktop, all that stuff we keep innovating around. And we love it when CISOs get involved. Right, because those are our people. Yes. Let's talk about scalability. So you didn't want to host a server?
No, it's not so much about the hosting part of it, but it's the support of the software long term, right?
Totally.
Because you got to deal with the vulnerabilities, you got to deal with the upgrades, right? And we have enough tools that we have to do that, from tools that we develop ourselves for our users, that if there's the opportunity to not have to do that and have an organization that's thinking about those things for us, we want to partner with those groups.
Yeah, and one of the benefits that we sort of unexpectedly realized was we can turn on and off locations for our customers. So for example, if the customer is in Europe and because of GDPR, all the data has to live in Europe, we can just click a box and do that because ScreenMeet is cloud native, right?
Yep.
The first line of code was written in the cloud, and it continues to be. So workflow. So how do your agents consume ScreenMeet today? Can you walk me through the day in the life of a ScreenMeet session?
Sure. A tech receives a phone call, comes through an IVR. We categorize the call a little bit through the IVR. It pops up on their screen in ScreenMeet, in ServiceNow.
Yep.
Tells them what type of what kind of call it is, why the person called, and then our tech gets on the phone with them, asks a couple questions, and then right within ServiceNow establishes a ScreenMeet session, which is great for us because the tech doesn't have to do so much screen jumping.
No chair swivel, no leaving the platform.
Right, they stay all within ServiceNow the entire time.
Yep.
So their note taking is faster. There's not the pregnant pauses while they're trying to figure out which screen they're on.
Yep.
Within ScreenMeet, there's easy buttons.
Right.
So they can click one of these buttons that has a function programmed to it, and they're able to have that function being performed in the background while they're continuing to talk to an agent to do better troubleshooting with them.
Right.
Just a number of features that integration gives us. The note taking is better.
Yep.
The tech is able to type right while they have the ScreenMeet session going on.
They can see everything else about the incident, all that stuff.
Yep.
And then when the session ends, all that data just flows back into the platform.
Right, it does. And 2 years ago, in 2024, we started looking a lot closer from an AI perspective at our QA process. Because old QA model was you listen to 5 or 10 calls from an agent, right, in a given month, and you evaluated how that tech did based on those 5 or 10 calls. With generative AI, now we're looking at all 10 to 15,000 calls that we get a month, right? We're able to get a transcript of the call. Through AI, we can listen to the quality of the call, the sentiment, we can get complexity, but we always had a piece that was missing. We couldn't see or track what a tech was actually doing when they were on the screen, right? Where they clicked.
Would they put notes in and stuff?
They would, but they have
But
another call to get to.
Right. That's not what they get measured on, how good their notes are.
Right, yeah. That's, from a QA perspective, it's more of, were their notes there, right? That's all you can measure on.
Right.
But now with the AI summarization that we get out of ScreenMeet, we now know everything that a tech does when they've taken over an agent's machine.
So let's talk about that for a second. So you went out, you found the cloud tool that was embedded in the platform.
Yep.
2 years in, you say, wait, this is awesome, but it could be awesomer.
Yes.
And so the awesomer piece is now ScreenMeet provides this AI summary of everything the agent did to fix the employee's problem.
Yes.
And so what does that do for you? What does that do for TTEC? What does that do for your operations?
A couple of different things. First, we can look at the process that a tech is following, and if we need to alter our documentation to document what the best process is to solve a problem, we can do that. We can evaluate how a tech is doing on following that process, because sometimes you get techs, they're individuals, right? Some tech may take 27 steps to solve a problem, and another one takes 4.
I'm probably more the 27 steps than the 4. Yeah.
Right.
You're the 4
thorough.
step. Yeah.
I'm a 4-stepper.
Yeah.
So now we can evaluate on the 4 steps.
Yeah.
Plus, now that we know what those 4 steps are,
Right.
we can go back to our developers and go, hey, we know whenever there's a problem, we just do these 4 steps. What can you do to build in something so that the agent can do that on their own, or so that problem never happens again?
Right. So that sort of AI summary
Yes.
becomes this source of knowledge. This
Yes.
really, arguably, very important source of knowledge from the desktop that can now inform outcomes across the platform.
Right.
And across the fleet of computers.
Right. So, and on, tell you, we 10,000 calls a month, which is about what we're averaging right now.
Yep.
We're using ScreenMeet on 90% of those calls.
How is that different? So that was what I wanted to get. So I want to get some KPI. So how are those outcomes? The outcomes that you're seeing with ScreenMeet, how are they different than what was happening with these sort of legacy tools before?
Sure. So now we use ScreenMeet on 90% of our calls. So the data that we're capturing on those calls, 90% of those calls, is so much improved.
Totally.
The experience is so much better on 90% of the calls.
Right.
That's led us to a lower average handle time. We've actually, since 2022, we've dropped our average handle time from 45 minutes or just over 45 minutes down to less than 28 minutes.
That's a lot.
A lot.
That's a lot of time saved per
Yes.
call.
Right. And ScreenMeet is a really important part of us being able to do that. It isn't just because we use ScreenMeet, but all of the information that you guys are able to provide for us,
Sure.
Has led to us being a lot more efficient on the phones that get us to that number.
Okay, so average handle time goes down.
Yep.
Utilization of the tool way up.
Right. The number of calls that we get into our at-home service desk is way down because our first call resolve number has also gone up.
So we're sort of nipping the problem in the bud,
Right.
and then productivity on the other side of that, getting that agent back to work,
Sure.
probably also way up.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, you have a 30-minute phone call that an agent is on with IT to try and solve their problem. They also have the other stuff, any other time that they would have before and after that call, before they get back in production. We're now able to give that back to the program, that time where they can actually be in production.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So maybe we're not charging you guys enough. But there's, measurable, tangible ROI from
Yes,
the tool.
absolutely.
And measurable, tangible ROI from the AI piece.
Yes.
Right. So you heard it here first. AI really does drive ROI.
It does.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's not this airy-fairy stuff. It's real world outcomes.
No, it's taken us a little while to get here.
Yep.
Right. But
Yep.
now we definitely realize from AI the benefits.
That was not something we had on our bingo card when 10 years ago we were coming up with ScreenMeet.
Sure.
But because we're in the cloud and because we're able to innovate quickly, we're able to react to sort of what's out there. Let's talk about what's next. Future state.
Future state, I can see where we'd like to get is to, off of the summaries that we have when we identify a problem that's hitting a couple of machines, right?
Yep.
A couple of agents are experiencing the exact same problem. Now it'll be through some type of agentic AI. We're now then going to be able to hopefully push every other agent that fits that profile, be able to make the same adjustments on them before they experience the problem.
So proactive IT.
Correction, yep.
And that's coming out of the remote support summary,
Yes,
which can then say, you know what, this agent had this problem. There's probably 10,000 other machines we need to go and do something to.
yes.
Yes. Yeah, that fits our vision too, because our belief is the complexity of IT is only going to grow.
Yes.
But anything that we can surface as an insight feed to you, feed into the platform and resolve, just drives productivity, gets people back to work. And
right. And it also makes it so that our techs can focus on the problems that can't be solved.
the higher order.
Yes, the higher order issues.
Right, which don't seem to be going away either.
No,
So there's a future for remote support.
definitely.
There's a future for AI. There's a future for sustain. What are we missing? Any parting words of wisdom? Any parting ideas?
Use ScreenMeet.
Yeah. Well, I would second Derek's advice. Use ScreenMeet. Stay in platform.
Yep.
One thing we didn't mention at the keynote. One of the interesting facts that the Bill McDermott surfaced was there's 37 disconnected applications in the day of the life of an IT person. Mm-hmm. And so, with ScreenMeet now we're down to 36, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the more we can integrate into ServiceNow, the better we're going to be.
That's right. And we feel the same way. Well, Derek, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was a real pleasure.
Thanks.